This is Robin Shockley with Focus Forward with Robin. I'm here today at the Regina Sunshine Global Network located at Studio T, Chapel Hill Road in Douglasville, Georgia. Let me tell you, we have got an amazing show tonight. So make sure you get your cup of coffee, get your wine glass, get your soda, whatever it is that you drink, and settle down for a great show. You're going to be motivated. Tonight's show is all about motivation. Before we get started, I'm going to talk a little bit about some announcements that's going on, and I'd like to give thanks to my sponsors. My first sponsor that has been very supportive of me throughout this show is the Heart of the Carolinas. Heart of Carolinas is a home care company that helps women and men, senior citizens, be able to stay in the comfort of their own home. So if you're interested in having their services to be able to help maybe your family go to a maybe go shopping or go to the doctor, or just spend some good quality time, let me know. I'll be more than happy to set you up. We're located in Malden, South Carolina. So if you need those services, I'd love to hook you up with Heart of the Carolinas. Another sponsor that I have is two magazines, which is Teensy Roseborough's magazine, which is Pain to Purpose. It's a magazine about people showcasing their personal stories, and it's a wonderful, I'm one of the columnists in that magazine, and I write stories. I do my food blogging in there as well. And then we also have another magazine that I just really came on board with. It's called Your City Magazine. And it showcases stories all across the world about people that have businesses that have been in together, about domestic violence. I mean, she showcases so many different stories, and we would love to be able to know what your story is. So you can contact me if you're interested in being a part of either one of those magazines, and because I'm a contributing author for them, and we can talk business. Another thing I would love to say about community, is so important to be able to reach out and to help those in need, especially with the holidays that are here coming up. We've got Thanksgiving coming up, and we've got Christmas. So my community person that I want to reach out to tonight and do a shout out for is Miss Bajaya Edie, located out of Greenville, South Carolina. She does this thing every single year called Feed the 5,000, where they provide food and turkeys and meals, and it's at noon. It's going to be at the Phyllis Wheatley Center at noon on Thanksgiving Day. If you would like to be a part to serve and to give back to the community, they'd love to have you come out and join and support. They need you. If you'd like to be a cook, maybe you got some recipes for mac and cheese or some green bean casseroles, I know they would love to have you participate and help join in to feed those in the community. Next month in December, if you are interested in having your community projects showcased on my show, Focus Forward Robin, all you got to do is email me at r.shockley18@gmail.com or message me on Focus Forward Robin Facebook page or my personal page, Robin Shockley, or Instagram, Robin Shockley, and I would love to be able to showcase your community outreach organizations. We're going to take a brief break, and when I come back, we're going to have our first guest up. I'm so excited. We've got Miss Tarika Williams Storr and her son, Teray George. They're coming on here, and they're going to share their Pit to Purpose story through business. Welcome back, everyone. This is Robin Shockley with Focus Forward Robin Show. And I want to tell you the reason why we even have this show is about helping others to think, believe, and achieve your dreams, even in stuck moments. There are so many people out there that needs the encouragement. So if you can, take this show and share it socially with those that you know that may need to be encouraged, because I'm about to tell you, we're going to talk to a couple of ladies and gentlemen tonight that are really going to fire you up, give you motivation, exactly what you need. I've got my first guest on the show with me today, this lovely family here. Welcome.
What's up? Thank you for having us. Yes, sir.
Yes, this is Teray George.
How you doing?
And you know what? Teray George would not be here if it wasn't for his lovely mother, Miss Tarika. Yes, Ms. Tarika Williams Store.
Yes.
Correct? Yes.
Correct.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about your stories, but first we're going to talk about who you are today. So tell us a little bit who you are, Ms. Tarika.
Well, I am a mother of three. I was actually married for 6 years and then became a single mother of three, and met a lot of struggles in the meantime. Had two jobs working and struggling and depending on family to assist and help me out, and it got to be very stressful at times, but my faith in God is what carried me through the entire process.
Wow.
And since then, I've gotten remarried to an amazing man, Mr. Darren
Who's in our
Storr.
studio tonight showing support.
And God has tremendously blessed us. We've experienced some hurdles in the beginning, but we've made it through.
Wow.
And I found my purpose.
Oh, I love that. So you found your purpose through your hurdles in life.
Yes,
I love
found
that.
my purpose through the storms.
That's
that
how
I've
it
gone through.
happens. Yes. Okay, so tell us what is your business, because you have your business right now, right? Tell us about that.
Yes. So I was introduced to this opportunity actually in April of this year. At the beginning of the year, I actually prayed and I said, God, I need a change. I need, my passion is to help people.
Okay.
I needed to feel like I was being an asset to, to someone, to somebody. I wanted to help someone that was in need.
Okay.
And I just didn't feel valuable where I was any longer. And so God saw fit to present this opportunity to me in April. But when it was presented to me, I didn't take it serious.
Oh, wow.
And so as a result, in June, I went to a convention. And that convention with the organization that I joined, it completely changed my life.
Wow.
I was, given a great mentor and coach. His name is T. Anthony Money, and and that actually transformed my mind that I need to be doing something that I'm passionate about for me and to help my family and my friends and everyone that's connected to me.
So what gave you, so it was getting connected to a coach and a mentor, somebody that give you that push,
Right.
to, hey, you can make it happen. You can become something great. You can take your situations and make them possible.
Right, and I didn't realize that I needed a coach and a mentor.
Wow. Wow.
And it's been nothing but a blessing.
Yes. Yeah.
And of course, when I returned July 2nd to my corporate job after 8.5 years, they decided they no longer needed my services.
Okay. Let's okay. So we're going to backtrack to that in just a moment. But first, let's tell me, what's the name of the company that you have now?
Financial Education Services.
Okay.
Is the name of the company.
And what exactly do you do?
Okay. It is credit restoration.
Okay. Credit restoration.
Yes.
Awesome. And we're going to get into that because that's where you come in as well. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. But let's talk about that. So you have this business that you started in April. And this business was something that kind of gave you the gutso to say, hey, I can be something great, because you got connected before that with a coach and a mentor. So, but you said you did not recognize that that was important to you, that you really needed that. So what did this coach and this mentor do to help you have that courage to step out and move forward?
Well, I met my coach and mentor through the business.
Okay.
So I didn't have an idea that things were going to line up the way it was.
Okay.
God was even using him and telling me
Okay.
that this is your season,
Okay.
that corporate America is not where you're supposed to be.
Wow. Wow.
And he said that this is where God wants you to be because you're going to make a huge impact
So you
to
were
a
with
lot of
corporate
people.
America, you said, for 8.5 years?
8.5 years.
8.5 years. And during that time, you went through some personal struggles, right? What were
Yes.
some of those struggles that you went through?
Some of those struggles were, at one point I was working 2 jobs trying to make ends meet. I ended up having to file Chapter 7 bankruptcy.
Wow. Come on.
My house went into foreclosure because my husband and I were trying to maintain 2 households. He's in a different country. And so it became very difficult at that time to maintain. So pretty much I started losing everything one by one. I lost it all, but I didn't lose my faith.
Okay. You said some really important things. So you said that you filed bankruptcy.
Yes.
That's real talk.
Yes.
You were married and your husband lived in another country.
Yes.
That's real talk. That's a
Yes.
story in itself. And we're going to do a live interview after this show to talk to Tarika and her husband about their personal story of overcoming. So with that, so your husband lived in another country. You were sitting here trying to keep ends meet here, working multiple jobs
Yes.
and everything and stuff. And you said a key ingredient. You said it was your faith that kept
Yes.
you. So what was so strong about what your faith does for you?
Because I grew up with the moral values instilled in me that, you need to activate your faith. And that it doesn't matter what the situation looks like, what it seems like, and if it hasn't even manifested into fruition, that keep your eyes on God and that he will bring you through any situation, that is nothing too hard or impossible for him to do for you.
Wow, wow. So, how did you feel when you were going through this, where you didn't have your support of your husband being here with you in the physical, and then you didn't have everything together because you were trying to make ends meet and you were losing, your home, you had to do foreclosure and all these things. How did you manage to not just keep your faith up, but just to keep your mind sane? What was something that helped push you to say, hey, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going. Besides just, I know you had your faith in God, but what did you feel about yourself? Because you said in the beginning that you had to find who you were and what your purpose was.
Yes. I knew that God had great things destined for me. And I knew that he was taking me through the storm and the rain for a reason and for a purpose.
That's it.
And I knew that it was going to help someone and that I had to continue to stand strong regardless of everything that was going on around me. I knew I had 3 children depending on me and looking to me for their guidance and leadership. And I knew I couldn't let them down and I couldn't let myself down.
See, that's what's so important, guys, when you're watching this show today, is to understand that this woman right here, she faced a lot of obstacles. She went through a lot of hardships, but she persevered. She didn't give up. She held on to what her faith was. But what she said was that she knew that God had greater purpose. So she didn't know what the outcome was going to be. She just knew she had to survive. She knew she had to overcome. And that's exactly what you did. And then because you didn't give up,
Right.
the door of opportunity opened for
Yes.
you guys to go into business for this company
Yes.
and to grow through mentorship, get
Yes.
the coaching, and to
Yes.
learn how to help other people.
Yes.
So not only is your story being impactful because of a personal story,
Yes.
but because she went in bankruptcy, guys. She lost her home. And now her business, tell us exactly what your business does again.
Credit restoration.
Credit restoration. Look at how God works all these things together. So let's get Teray in there,
Okay.
because Teray's got some things he's going to share. Tell us where you fit in first on the job. Tell us a little bit what your role is with this company.
Okay, so at first, it was basically, at first she kind of talked to me and she was like, hey, you should do this, you should do that. And I wasn't very sure. I wasn't as passionate about it at first when we first started. But eventually I did. I started up with her, and it was me, my siblings, and others. And once she kind of gave me the game plan, I got the mentoring from the same coach, T. Anthony Money. And after we got the ball rolling, after I started feeling the energy and seeing other people so passionate about not only helping people, but building people into leaders, I was like, well, that's right up my alley. So I was like, okay, cool. So I've joined, and ever since, it's been a life-changing experience for me. We just came back from a conference. It was actually in Atlanta with Eric Thomas, and he set the roof on fire and lit an internal flame in me, and I think in the whole room. So it definitely drove me to do more and be more into not only the business but within myself.
So it's not helping you just on a business level, but it's helping you on a personal level.
Yes, ma'am.
To be vocal and to speak out and to reach out. Because let's talk about how we met.
Right.
Okay. Because
Yeah,
you know
'cause
what? This is very interesting because I was here for my show last month and I was at the hotel and they were having social hour, and so I walk up. Did I walk up to you?
Nah, it was Stacy.
Stacy Cruggs, hello if you're watching. This is my buddy Stacy, who was on my show last month. Stacy was there, and Stacy brought you over to me, and so he introduced us.
Right.
And you started telling me that you were a motivational speaker.
Right, of course.
And first, let's tell how old you are.
So I'm 21.
21 years old, and this guy is a motivational speaker.
Oh, yeah,
so we
you already
started. Yeah, so we started. I love it. Love his confidence. So we started talking and we started chatting and everything. And what was so cool is I was like, we gotta do like a little video because everybody knows Robin on the go does videos everywhere. And so he started giving like some motivation, and I was like, there's something unique and special about this guy. So we exchanged numbers about him and his mom coming on the show and connecting. So I had been thinking about somewhere to go to church. And I didn't even remember that I even mentioned it to you about going to church. So late that night, I had gotten a message from him saying, hey, Miss Robin, if you're looking for a church, my grandfather is a church pastor of Judah House of Praise.
Bishop
A bishop at Judah House of Praise. And so that was really cool. So I ended up going to the church.
Right.
And I said, this is my little Elijah. Because his grandfather spoke a prophetic word over me that lined up with things that other people had spoken over me and confirmation from my life. So I knew it was a divine appointment for us to have this connection, for you guys to be connected with me. And your story is so amazing. But you've got a story too.
I do.
Yeah, let's
So,
you got just a few minutes. Let's share about your story.
Of course. So basically with me, for one, I feel like I never knew this, but I've always been a leader. And how I knew about that is just, playing sports growing up. I was always kind of the vocal point and the person that everybody looked to for encouragement. And then I was in the military, and I was the same thing. And I felt like since I was the youngest, I always had something to prove to people. So it was like I had a drive in me to want to be the best and be the one that everybody kind of looked at. So I kind of manifested that, and I became that. And even though I didn't think much of myself, and whatever I was doing was really helping people and inspiring people, other people was coming to me like, yo, like you really helped me, like through this time, through that time. And even still now, people I've known in the past, and even strangers now, whenever I make videos, they were like, yo, like that really helped me. So that encourages me on a daily basis to keep doing what I'm doing. So, I won't say my life was the hardest, but it certainly wasn't the easiest. I've had to overcome. I've had to do a lot of things that I had to deal with a lot of things that a lot of people my age, haven't gone through. So it was just that I feel like that molded me, and that built my character to a point where I can now be the voice that people can listen to.
I love it. This younger generation, I'm telling you, they're rising up to their potential and their character, and it's coming to life, the positiveness of it. And I love seeing the positiveness of your life and the way that you talk, because one, you have a clear voice in speaking. That's that's obvious.
Thank you.
But the passion that's in you, you're going to go places, and I know it. And I know
you. I
Mom
appreciate it.
is so very
Yes,
proud of
I
you,
sure
of
am.
what you're doing.
Oh,
And y'all
really?
were
Little
team,
me.
yeah, and y'all are working together, and
Yes.
that is a family legacy, and I
ma'am.
love it. And the thing is, we talked a little bit off camera before when I met with you that Sunday.
Right.
and you shared a little bit of motivation with me about your story, about your past life and everything and stuff with your families and stuff. And it really triggered my heart because I thought, I needed that. And I knew that's why God sent you to me, because even for that moment, you standing by my car, well, you squatted down my car and I'm crying in my car, and you're motivating, a 21-year-old is motivating me and helping me get through some of my trials and my tribulations that I'm even facing today in my family. But see, that's how God works, guys. God will line you up with the people that needs to be in your life that can be that motivation for you. It wasn't by accident, anybody that I meet. And so if you're not, this is what I always say, everything attached to me wins. And you know what, if you're not winning, that's what Regina's motto is. If you're not winning, then you're in it to win it, and you still got more to do. So listen, this is so important. Make sure you're connected to the right people who can help benefit you, help carry you to places, not for just social platforms, but to help change within. That's the key. And to lead you to Christ. That's so very important. So
yes, ma'am.
You guys are such a blessing, and I'm so thankful that you're on this show, that you're sharing your stories of how far you've come. And we're going to come back at the end and let you share with Dr. Eric after he comes on. But tell people how they can get in touch with you for your business if they want your services, because that's the whole point of this show, is to be able to give people a platform to connect with the public, those that are in crisis. Tarika shared her story. She went through a lot, and there's a lot of single moms that are out there. There's a lot of moms and dads that are going through struggles, and they're scared. They don't know what steps to take. They don't want to file bankruptcy, or maybe they have filed bankruptcy and they want to get their credit fixed. These guys are here to help service you. So let people know how they can get in touch with you.
You can actually go to my website, which is www.myfes.net/T Williams 172.
All right,
Okay.
awesome. And if anybody wants to get in touch with you for like speaking,
Right,
or
of
and they need some positive influences in their life, this younger generation or even an older generation, how can they get in touch with you?
So Instagram, Facebook, it'd be my name, Tereh George, Tereh, last name George, and yeah, that's probably the best way, a DM or a follow. And I have all my videos up there as well, so you can go ahead and check something out if you want to book me for a show. Just saying, hey.
Hey,
so,
hey, out there, guys.
I'm just saying.
There you go.
I'm pretty explosive. So
that's right. I love it. I love your confidence. All right, guys. This is Robin Shockley. We're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, we're going to have Dr. Eric Holmes on the show. He is a phenomenal speaker. He is phenomenal at anything he does. Everything attached to him does win. Let me tell you, I can testify to it. So we'll be right back in just a moment. Welcome back, everyone. This is Robin Shockley with the Focus Forward Robin Show here at the Regina Sunshine Global Network. This is where we always talk about pit-to-purpose stories. We have different people that come on the show, and it's entrepreneurs, it's actors, it's pastors, it's business people, to just share their story. If you're just an average mom that sits at home, you're not average at all because you have a story to tell. If you would like to be on my show, all you got to do is connect with me and let me know, and we can talk business. But today, I have an amazing guy that flew in from Baltimore, Maryland on his birthday weekend to be with me, and it's Dr. Eric Holmes. Welcome.
Hey, welcome.
I'm so
Welcome,
excited.
welcome.
Yes, this is his second time being on the show, and I'm telling you, this man is so contagious. When I say contagious, it's a good contagious. He has the Holy Spirit all over him, and he has so much positivity. His vibe is so energetic, and I know, guys, that you're going to get so impacted by what he has to share today, because we're going to talk about some things. But first, let's talk about who you are and what you do.
My name is Dr. Eric Holmes. I'm originally from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, but I live in Maryland, in Baltimore, Maryland. 21-year employee of Johns Hopkins Hospital. And I'm just a humble servant who said yes and just passionate about what I do, my purpose, my drive, and just being able to be a help to somebody else, to make a difference and make an impact in the lives of someone else, to be able to influence them and encourage them.
I love it. And you are definitely influence and encouragement to me, because how we met was, I was sharing earlier about how we met. It's amazing. We met through social media.
Yeah.
That's how we connect. Social media is so powerful, guys. So that's why it's so important to connect. But let me tell you, you have written 2 books, and we're going to talk about those books in a moment. But yesterday, you really went in deep. We went to lunch, guys, and we had the best time. We went and ate Indian food.
Yeah.
I've only had Indian food twice, and you introduced me to this restaurant called Curry Up and Decatur, somewhere down there.
Yeah.
Somewhere down there. And we had the best time. We sat there, enjoyed the food, and they were so nice there,
Very
weren't
nice,
they?
very.
They were so good. We're doing kudos to them. But anyway, you had a story that you were sharing with me, because you definitely have a pit-to-purpose story.
Yeah.
Because you walked out in courage on something.
Yeah.
Because you took a leap of faith to do something. Tell us a little bit, briefly, what took place in your life not too long ago.
It's probably about a year ago, and I took a career move, and sometimes it's not, to me, I tell people it's not always about money, but it was a career move. But somewhere down the line, I just knew that that was not for me, because that wasn't my passion. And though I learned a lot, and I tell people, you learn from the experience of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
What have I learned? Self-examination, but long as you take something away with it. Well, anyway, I end up leaving that particular department. It wasn't for me, and then things just were not going right. And so, in faith, I left. And
Now, you had been at this, you had been there for how long?
20 years.
20 years, and you just left. You just walked out because it wasn't working out. So literally, you had to just trust.
I did. Even though, gave notice, did it the right way. Never leave nowhere without doing it the right way.
Yes.
But I just went to each one of the bosses and just let them know, this is not my passion. This is not for me. What I do in healthcare, helping others and encouraging, inspiring, that's what I do. And, did everything the right way. And even with leaving, most people would not understand that you've been here so long and you just left. But the thing about it is, as Proverbs 22:1 says, I'd rather have a good name than great riches.
Yeah.
Because if I seek ye first the kingdom, that's going to come.
That's
I'm
right.
a tither. I'm
That's
a giver.
right.
That's all going to be incorporated.
That's
And
right.
so the thing is, when it comes to the integrity, when it comes to the character and credibility, I said I would do it again. I would just make sure I had a whole lot more money.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that when it comes to your name, when it comes to your character, your integrity, your credibility, see, that'll take you a long way in life.
Yeah.
And most people would not have understood it. So you have to have people around you with faith. You have to have people
Yes.
around you that even if you shared that, most people wouldn't have understood it.
Exactly.
So I didn't
Yeah.
share it only but with a few.
Few.
But nobody still, to this, they never knew unless I told the story.
Yes. And so you went a few months without having this job.
Yeah.
So during that time, you didn't have a job. So you were just trying to make ends meet. You were trying to figure out your purpose. You were trying to figure out what are you doing with me during this time? And through that time, what happened?
Through those 4 months, as I tell people, operating in faith with no finances, it was amazing because my book ended up being in all the libraries. The Power of the Seed is in so many libraries, 22 locations of the Enoch Pratt, Baltimore City, 19 of Baltimore County, 8 in Dauphin County and PA, and now West Carroll County Minister Library. But in the process of that, I ended up doing a book signing, doing a teaching at the library. In the midst of that, was featured in so many magazine, radio interviews, TV interviews. But then I actually co-authored a book, wrote that chapter dealing with finance for the Soulful Prayers in the midst of all of that. So in the midst of the transition, in the midst of the wilderness experience, one thing sitting in the library was that he said, but see, if you navigate, I'll show you how to navigate through the wilderness to get to the promise. But if you endure the wilderness, you'll be able to enjoy the promise. So all of that he was showing me, and then gave me a message that I end up having to preach at our church for evangelistical service. Don't compromise your promise and settle for less. Because too many times we compromise our standards. We compromise our integrity. We compromise who we are because we're dealing with situations or we're dealing with circumstances, but yet we forget that he's still God, that if he's done it, then he'll do it again.
Amen.
But my faith cannot waver. If he says without faith, it is impossible. But faith is the substance of things hoped for. Your faith has to be in him because he's the only one who could have did it. But he showed me so much in those 4 months, my drive. And plus I needed a break. I've been working straight, going to school, working both those jobs, even when I was in school for my doctoral. But all of that, sometimes he'll give you a break. But it was what I learned in the process of it.
I love it because you said the key point was that he will give you a break. I always say pause for a cause. You were pausing for a cause.
Yes, Lord.
For sure. Because during this time, in the midst of, is what he said, guys. Are y'all getting this? In the midst of what had happened, and it looked like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going to happen. He chose to trust, and God just started opening up more doors. So if you follow the will of God and you listen to what the Holy Spirit's telling you, like you said, you didn't tell the whole world.
No.
You share with a few people that you knew that you could trust. You share with your tribe of those that had your back, that you knew that you could depend on to help you make the right decision and say, how are you going to overcome and how are you going to get through this? And through all this, in the midst of, God opened up the doors for these books to be in these magazines, for your story to be told, to be in the libraries. That's big. That's big.
Major.
And also, I know you're not very modest to this, but let's tell really briefly. You have received some numerous awards, and we need to give a shout out to that because the reason why, because what looked like it was going to tear you down, the situation that you were in, look at how God has come through. What are some of the awards that you've received?
One of the awards was, and that's why when it came to my integrity and character and credibility, is that one of the highest awards I won at Johns Hopkins, which is the Edward Halley Award. It's an award given to one employee each year during the award ceremony. And that employee is given to one person out of 24,000 employees that they choose one. And then the second highest was the MLK Award, and two outstanding, customer service awards. And I'm in the radiology, I'm in the customer service video for orientation. And so when it came down to whether, you were going to try to damage my character, all of that, and I've won all those awards. Not every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, people are looking at the video that I am in and for orientation for customer service. So my integrity meant a lot to me. And so in the midst of awards, and getting awards for the Upwards Achievement Award in Kolkata, India, for their first Achievements Award, and so many different other awards that I have received, and it's a blessing, but it's all to God be the glory. But in the midst of all of that, that's why I wouldn't compromise my integrity. That's why I'm not going to compromise who I am and my faith in him, because in the midst of that, when I got hired for the position that I am in now, not only I was the keynote speaker for a major conference, and they told me to talk about faith, talk about God, and talk about the power of the seed.
They allowed him to talk about all these things.
They shifted all of that, a week before and said, this is what we need you. And I was the last keynote speaker. And it was a major conference that they do every year. So see what the enemy meant for evil, but see, God already worked it out. It was already done in eternity. I was just walking it out in time. So in the midst of that whole wilderness experience, you can't lose your faith. In the midst of that wilderness experience, he gave me a different perspective, even the more of trusting him, and that really to live out the power of the seed. So now I really walk this thing out. I really teach this thing as well as with even soulful prayers, because now I know for sure, I know what prayer can do.
That's right. And I love the fact, the reason why I had him mention the awards, it's not about the recognition of the awards, but it's about the accolades with the integrity and the character behind it. You said it. You did not want to damage that integrity. You stood still and you knew exactly what you stood for. And you know what? And God sends the blessings. God will reward you, you know? And so you didn't have to go get recognition for yourself. The world started recognizing you. Like he said, India. He received an award out of India. That's major. And so let's talk about your book, The Power of the Seed, because you are so passionate about it. And let's talk about, what is this Power of the Seed book all about?
The Power of the Seed, and it's really definitely passionate because I just actually did a teaching at the library, the same library that the book is in, one of them. I end up doing a teaching in the midst of the transition of the wilderness experience. And so here I am ministering the power of the seed and teaching this to a group of people while I'm in a wilderness experience. But yet the power of the seed will teach you the understanding of how powerful your seed really is, because everything starts with the seed. Christ being our ultimate seed for us. And everything, because if it goes back to the seed, because it'll teach you how the preparation and the process and how to sow properly, because every ground is not good ground. And so what a farmer from the natural aspect, it's a way of living, it's the produce, it's how they live. But then the thing about it from the natural with the farmer is the preparation, the process before he even plants, before he even sees the germinating of the ground. And so yet after that, all of that, then he plants. After all of that, then he sees the middle process. You got to water it, you got to nurture it, you got to harvest it. But I love the concept what a farmer does. He sees standing at the beginning, but yet he sees the end. But it's the middle process that he got to work. And so when you shift it to the spiritual, for the believer, we see that we might receive a harvest. And so it's biblically based. And it takes you back, is from Genesis, is one of the scriptures, 8:22. As long as the earth remains, there shall be seed, time, and harvest. So when Isaiah picks it up in 55:10, he said he gives seed to the sower. So when Paul picks it up in Galatians 6:9, that's why you ain't got to get weary. You got a harvest coming in due season. And we are really in due season. And so for the believer, you've got to understand how powerful your seed is. And that's one of the other things is I tithe, I sow. So in that whole process, I didn't lose nothing. I didn't lose my home. I seen them even send me a letter and add more value to my home. They did like $5,000 worth of work, and I'm reading this letter like, who is this? But yet, had I been there sitting in that queue, I wouldn't have received the letter, or I wouldn't have called because I would have been at work. However, it didn't do nothing but add more value to my home. I mean, they came in and they did an extensive upgrade to the home that was already upgraded, so they just added more value. So see, you got to look at things from another perspective. And because I've planted, I've sown, a harvest has got to come. A seed will just germinate through the underground process, so when it gets to the set time and season, because I did the part in the middle, I watered it, I nurtured it, and then the harvesting of it, that's why how powerful your seed is.
You're reaping that harvest now.
And that's why you can't get weary. You can't. Because you got to wait it out. As my bishop would say, you got to wait it out. Just wait on God. He's not unrighteous to forget our labor. He's not unrighteous that he forgot me in the wilderness. He just showed me how to get through the wilderness.
He just showed you how to get through. And that's so key important, because some of us, we have gone through things where we've lost stuff. Like me, Miss Tarika was saying earlier and stuff, and we held on to our faith. Just because things didn't go the way that we thought that they were supposed to go, and decisions that were made, we continue to sow, we continue to invest. We talked about this yesterday about showing kindness, just doing a kind deed. You might not can sow financially, but sowing your time, showing your investment. I sow my time. I drive 6 hours to
Yes.
come to Georgia because I believe in a woman that does this network with the Regina Sunshine Global Network. You know, I could go do a show somewhere else and actually, but you know what? Because of my faithfulness here, I'm sowing my time in here. God's expanding me,
Yes.
and He's opening up opportunities for me to use other avenues as well as here. So it's like you said, don't grow weary in well doing. That's so key to saying that, because continue to persevere, continue to move forward. So if you're out there and you're going through some struggles right now, whether in a financial situation or whether in a relationship, something, don't grow weary in well doing. Continue to sow, continue to hold on to your character, continue to hold on to your integrity, and believe in what God has told you, because everything will come to pass and God gets the glory in the end. That's the main thing. So let's go into talking about Soulful Prayers. What's that book about?
Wow, and Soulful Prayers, it just tied in, and then God gave me a revelation because it's amazing. Because in the middle of this whole transition,
Okay.
I write a chapter dealing with personal finance.
Wow.
And so here it is that because I live it and I can teach it because I experience it and I'm on the other side of it, called
Okay.
victory. And so Soulful Prayers is the power of intentional communication with God.
Wow.
So 52 amazing authors, me make 50, came together. It's the divine assignment. Both of these books, it's a divine assignment. It's not just a book. It's a divine assignment. So when the visionary Miss Cheryl spoke it to me, it clicked in my spirit.
Yeah.
And knowing that it was a divine assignment, that all of us have come together to share the story and to be intentional with our prayer. So Soulful Prayer is an intentional communication with God, where every chapter, every page is something in it. Whether you're going through divorce, whether you're
Yes.
going through finance, whether you're going through a mother who had to abort her child, whether you're going through grief, whether you're going through financial situation, whether you're going through unemployment, every chapter and every page is something in there that will encourage the believers and non-believers, because in this day and everybody needs prayer.
That's
In this
right.
day
That's
and time,
right.
whether it's divorce, that's in there. Unforgiveness, that's in there. So
Wow.
it deals with every topic that you
Wow.
would need to encourage you, that in the midnight that I can just open this page and flip to and say, wow, I'm overcoming rejection and opposing spirits. I can flip to another and say, you got to soar in this season. No matter what you're going through, no matter what the
love it.
situation
I
or
love
the
it.
circumstance, you got to understand prayer is the key.
Wow. That's
Prayer
right.
will be the key. Prayer
right.
still works. And I was featured in the headline with Andre Johnson in the headline news in Dallas with this. And one of the key things he said, he captured my title, prayer still works. And it does. I don't care what it is. Prayer still works.
Prayer always
is the
works.
answer. Prayer will be the answer. And at the set time, the answer is just in transition, just like with Daniel. 21 days. I don't care if it's been held up. At the appointed time, it's got to be released, because
Wow.
two things is not going to stay in heaven. That's the prayer and the answer.
Amen.
So Soulful
Yes.
Prayer is going to help you get through whatever transition you might be in. And it's an intentional communication. If you don't know how to pray, it's going to help you to
Help you
understand.
understand.
If you don't know when to pray,
Yes.
it's going to help you. So
Yes.
these 52 amazing authors, including me, came together under divine assignment, under the visionary. And I'm excited because Soulful Prayer
Yes.
Volume 2 is getting ready to come out. So I'm really
Awesome.
excited. And then I have a workbook to the Power of the Seed
I
coming
know.
out.
Well,
So,
we're
yep.
going to talk about that.
It's-
The Power of
it's
the Seed. He
amazing.
has a workbook. So he not only let's hold the book up. Not only does he have the book, The Power of the Seed, there is a workbook it's green. It's not going to show up. Sorry.
Oh, I know.
Sorry, the green's not going to show up. But there is a workbook that's going to be coming up. And this is Soulful
that's
Prayers.
it.
This is the other book, Soulful Prayers. But let me tell you, this Power of the Seed workbook, what's the workbook going to be about?
It's called the Power of the Seed Workbook, a guide to help you with your seed.
Okay.
It's going to help you understand the process, the preparation, and it's going to help you understand how to plant, how to sow, and how to get it going. Because
Wow.
most people don't know really how powerful the seed is. They really don't know that every ground is not good ground. You just can't sow
Yeah.
everywhere. You can't seed
So
everywhere.
what does it mean? What does it mean, Brother Eric, to our viewers that don't know what sow a seed? Because I always say sow where you want to grow. If you want to go somewhere and get somewhere in life, you need to invest in somebody that you want to be like, or something that you're aiming for and such. So what does it mean to actually sow a seed? What does that mean?
It's planning. because with like the tree, it's never a tree unless it started with a seed. And sometimes, like with our yard, you've got to get in it and do the work. You got to pull the weeds. You got to do all that groundwork, because if you plant in the midst of them weeds, it's going to choke the seed. Just like it said, except the seed that fall to the ground. The thing about it
Wow.
is that you got to get in there and do the work,
Yeah.
because if you don't, it's going to stop your seed. It may
Wow.
not travel. It may not grow, because the thing about it is, it now has been, if it doesn't fall on good ground, as the scripture tells, it's going to fall on stony ground. It's going to fall, you want it to fall on good ground.
That's
that is
right.
going to produce a harvest.
That's
and a lot of
right.
times people really don't know. I can't sow everywhere, whether it's my time, my talent, because it might not be good ground to do
That's
it.
right. That's right.
I really don't sow the people that don't tithe, because listen, if they don't tithe, they rob God, they'll rob you. You know what I'm saying? Situations are different. It might be somebody homeless. We're talking different situations,
yeah.
but for the main part of it is, you got to make sure that it's a ground that it's going to grow. Every fruit don't grow in the same climate. We
right.
don't mature in the same climate or the same season. So you got to know the season. You
That's
got to
right.
know the climate.
Yes, that's exactly right. And I love that. And I want to say it again. The reason why I'm here at Regina Sunshine Global Network is because I believe it is good ground. That's why I bring people here. I'm always promoting. I'm always speaking. And can't do other things on a financial other than my show, but I can always spread a good word. You can always spread a
Yes.
good word. You're always shouting out for me. I love the fact that he does that. You know what? That's what it's all about. It's bringing awareness to other people, the knowledge and the understanding and the wisdom, what it means to sow good seeds on good ground. And I am so thankful that you came to be on the show today. It is such a pleasure to have you here with us. Can you say, we're going to come back in just a minute after this break, and we're going to talk about how you can encourage somebody to focus forward, to walk into their calling, into their purpose, to move forward, and to understand more about this power of the seed.
Absolutely.
Okay? Guys, we're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap it up. It's been an amazing show. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you would be interested in sowing into good ground, which is Focus Forward Robin's show, here at the Regina Sunshine Global Network, I would love to have you to connect with me. I'm always looking for sponsorships. I'm always looking for people to connect with. And you know what? This is a good fertile ground, because I'm telling you, God is opening up doors that no man can do, because it's amazing how the connections, and I always say that, as I said earlier, everything attached to me wins. And you know what? You might as well rise up and catch it, because it's here. We'll be right back, guys. welcome back, everyone. This is your girl, Robin Shockley, with the Focus Forward Robin Show here at the Regina Sunshine Global Network. It has been an amazing show today. Guys, thank you so much for coming. I'm telling you, we have learned so much about sowing seeds, about becoming an entrepreneur, stepping out on faith through hardships and breakups, of how to be motivated, to walk out in this younger generation to be something great. It's amazing what God will do when he puts people together to be able to connect and be able to share their story from pit to purpose. Guys, I would love for you to just take a brief moment and tell us what's your intake on how you can encourage somebody to focus forward today. Teray?
Oh, starting with me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But no, just a couple things, like be intentional with whatever you're doing. Know where your money's going and what you're doing in an everyday fashion, because we get caught up in whatever the case may be, and we forget that we have people depending on us. We have people counting on us to be the people that we're supposed to be. You know, if you're my age, we have unborn children, and we have future wives and husbands that are expecting us to be that caregiver and that provider for them. So you have to be that and act in genuine love. So that, and I think that's the best thing that we should do moving forward.
I love that. That is so encouraging, because you said we have unborn children that are dependent on us. You know, they're not even born yet. And you've got to change this generation, and it all starts with each person making that difference and the impact to think positive. All right, Miss Rika?
Well, what I want to leave with everyone is that no matter what you go through, when you hit rock bottom, there's nowhere else to go but up.
Yes.
To keep your faith,
Yes.
staying strong, believe that you're going through what you're going through for a purpose, and that God will deliver you out of it, and that continue to walk in unshakable faith, because in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct
Yes.
your path.
Amen.
And
Amen.
into what he wants you to do, and that's to impact and change lives. For myself, it's not about me, it's not about anyone but God and what he wants me to do in regards to helping his people. It's about people.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and so
Love it.
I just want to thank you, Robin, for having me.
Yes, thank
Oh,
you.
Yes.
you're welcome. I'm so glad that you guys come. It meant so much to have you here, and that's so important that you shared that unshakable faith. You
Yes.
know, to be unshakable, and just you know, there's nowhere to go but look up. Especially when you hit rock bottom, when you get in that pit situation. You know, because you can't climb out on your own. But you know, God, look up. God's right there, reaching out His hand to help you, and He will give you clarity on decisions to make. So, Dr. Eric, what would you say to help somebody to focus forward today?
Just wanted to say, you know, hold to the profession of your faith. Quitting is not an option. Wherever you find yourself in the wilderness experience, just know that the wilderness is preparing you for the promise. And the thing about it is, faith is your only means of transportation, but victory is your only option. So no matter what you may be experiencing, know that he always gives us a way of escape out. You just got to hold to the profession of your faith. Cast not away your confidence. It does have great recompense of reward. And knowing God is not unrighteous to forget your labor of love. And anybody around you, we have the power of influence. And, you know, I'm really excited because next Friday I'm going to be doing on Power 4.4 Radio called The Power of Influence with Dr. E to encourage somebody
do your little promo for that.
to influence somebody, to inspire somebody.
Yes.
We have the power of life and death in the tongue.
Yes, we do.
But it starts with
Yes,
us
we
to be
do.
able to help somebody else. So quitting is not an option. Never quit. Because even with the past, the present, and the future, the past will remind you that you're now in your present, but then you got a future awaiting. So use the past, present, and the future to get to where you're going, and live each day on purpose, with purpose, for purpose, and let your passion push you to purpose.
Ooh, I told y'all.
All right.
Listen, let me tell you, I'm crying because I've only had two people. You and somebody else. Dion Wingate is the only people that's had me crying on interviews. And I'm telling you, and I'm crying now because it's the Holy Spirit. Because
Yes.
what you said, use your past, your present, and your
Yes.
future. That is so key. And if you're out there today and you're struggling with focusing forward, you're struggling with moving forward in your pit situations, you know, take these examples of these people sharing their stories of how they overcome. You know, Dr. E is a book writer. You know, Teray is a motivational speaker. And Tarika, she's a business owner. It's amazing. And she's taken her situation from her past and she's used it for her present to go into what her future is. And now she's passed that legacy down to her son. It's amazing what God can do when you walk in obedience and faith and trust. And so, guys, what I would love to say to help you to focus forward is to keep your mind on a straight path. Don't let distractions come, because they're going to come, but don't let them prevail. Don't let them destroy you. And to know that, as Romans 8:28 says, all things are working together for your good. You may not think that things are going to work out, and you could be stuck right now, and you could be in a situation, whether it's a relationship, whether it's business, as I said earlier, or whether it's your home, or whether it's family, whatever it could be, and you don't know which way to go, and you feel stuck. Tarika said it best. You've got to look up. God is the source. He's the answer. He will pull you out. Yes. He will help you. He will give you a creative mindset. Yes. I mean, look, God opened the door for them to have their business. God opened up the door while he was in his pit, going through his despair in his wilderness. God opened up the door for opportunities for him to be in magazines and for him to get his books and creative ideas to get into the libraries. It's amazing. God's opened up the door for me to have platforms to all over the place. I'm not going to go into all that, but there's so many different avenues. It's amazing. So, guys, take our testimonies as hope for you today, that you will prosper, that you will overcome, and that you are a champion. Guys, if you could just say how you can let people know how they can get in touch with you for speaking engagements or to get in touch with you for your businesses, let them know.
So, Teray George, Facebook, Instagram, Tereh George. You can hit me up and DM me like that, and we can go from there.
And for me, Tarika, Tereca Williams -store, STORR, on Facebook and Instagram, Rochelle22.
And I can be reached, Eric Holmes on Facebook, Dr. E. Holmes on Instagram, and my email, elynNK1306@gmail.com. Message me, contact me, catch one of the books on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or in any of the libraries.
Awesome. And I'm Robin Shockley. What you can do is reach me on the Focus Forward Robin show at the Regina Sunshine Global Network. You can reach me at Facebook, Instagram under Robin Shockley, and Focus Forward Robin page. And my email is r.shockley18@gmail.com. I'd love to have you on the show. I'd love to do the interviews with you. If you're interested, get in touch with me. Remember, if you think a thing, you believe a thing. If you believe a thing, you're going to achieve it, just like all of us are doing here today. Y'all have a blessed day.